Hello and good morning, Okay, I'm just doing a bit of a new camera setup, because I've got a new phone, so just bear with me for a sec because I'm standing up having a look, so I haven't got a big space, so I kind of zoomed in so you don't constantly see the what do you call it, tripod. So these little washi tapes, which I thought was a genius idea. I don't know if anyone else does that, but that is where I need to stay in. Just double checking. Yeah, that's where I need to stay in, so you're in shot. Because normally when I use my phone, I do the reverse camera, like the selfie kind of thing, but because I got this new phone, it's got these amazing cameras, so my son's like, why aren't you using the better cameras? I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so now I am, so I know that. Excuse my desk, it is a bit of a mess. So I'm just have to stay in those little dots and I should be okay. Okay, welcome to Lovecraft with Cass. So today's going to be a bit different. Is this one that works? I have one there. So we're going to go, welcome to Lovecraft with Cass. That's me, by the way, and I'm Australian, if that wasn't apparent. To all those people who are here watching, hello and welcome. If you've subscribed and liked any of my videos or commented on any of my videos, thank you very much. That is very lovely of you and much appreciated. So I've been I need my brain to catch up. So I've been doing videos on crafts, and I have kind of just generic craft because I like doing so many crafts. I'm gonna get another pen. I like this one. Oh, it might not show. Let's see. So the one I've done for the longest is, that does crochet. And I have done a little bit of knitting. I'm getting back into it. I've started making a shawl, which is really cool. I also spin my own yarn. Weaving on rigid heddle looms, which they're my favorite looms. What else? There's it's been over a year now, year and a half of slow stitching and textile art. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. This is just what I feel like doing. I'm just getting up again to check it's working. Yes, still working. Good. Slow stitching and textile art. I have done sewing all my life, machine sewing predominantly, and what I would call pragmatic sewing, like sew for a useful, and I'm not degrading slow stitching or anything in the way, but like making clothes or something to use, not this I recently discovered. I say recently, it's been over a year and a half now. I have done cross stitch. Not since high school though, that was 30 years ago, but I have started. I'll give you a sneaky peek. I bought this a couple of weeks ago. Look at that. Paddington Bear. Now, there's a big story about Paddington Bear for me, but I'm going to do that in another video because I was just recently in England and I want to do a video on England and the things I got there and the people I met and all that kind of jazz. So I won't do that. This video is a very specific video introduction thing, and so I'm not. Oh yes, that's right. I was talking about my crafts. Yes, I use this term because there's also scrapbooking. I love making junk journals, paper crafts. I've was sent a kit for twilling. To make a couple of things, see if I like it. Junk journals. Now don't worry about this paper too much because it is, I don't think there's anything. I rescued this from when I was in an office job and they would just print out things, use them once, and then you know, make posters or handouts or whatever, and then just throw it all out. So I would bring them home, cut them half and use it as a notebook, but I will use these pages again because I will actually just do jelly print, painting and drawing. I've done things like tatting, and I've got bobbins to learn how to do lace bobbin making. I mean, if there's a craft, I'll have a go. These are kind of the ones that are still active in my life right now. What I want to do is talk about this one. So this is what, oh, that's actually filled a bit, and we'll just jump on to the next thing. New colour. Gone into teacher mode. I don't know why. Okay. So, I want to give you guys a whole bunch of context. Hopefully without being super duper duper long. Okay, slow stitching. Now, not last year. So this year's the 2025. I actually had to check. Okay, so towards the end of 2023, so personal aside, 2022 and 2023 were horrendously bad years for me. Personal reasons and very, just horrendously bad. And I ended up on stress leave from work because that was just unable to stay there. And then because they wanted to get rid of the problem, they made me redundant. So it was very messy, and there was a whole lot of stuff like bullying, harassment, even assault, all that kind of stuff. It was, those years were particularly bad. Why I'm telling you this is because this all comes down to craft. So I was at home, I hermited because I already had PTSD, and then I had complex PTSD, which is the one from long-term childhood trauma, and then I got PTSD from the situations that happened at work. So I was trying to do craft to keep sane, and this one, crochet, I've been doing for like 20 years. Well, maybe not that long, 15, maybe, somewhere between there. But because I was so messed up and just in a really broken space, like anything I was doing wasn't really, I couldn't stick at anything, and I was really struggling to craft. And another passion of mine is reading, and I couldn't read. I was just really struggling to find something that I could stay with that would help me keep calm. And YouTube, which love YouTube for this, I've never ever watched a sewing video on YouTube because it was not my passion. I only brought out the sewing machine when I had to fix up pants, or because I'm incredibly short, I always had to, bring up the hems of my pants. That was pretty much the only time my sewing machine got used. So it was crochet, knitting, spinning, painting, drawing, weaving, junk journaling. There's a great YouTuber that I love. They're Paula McClay as well, but nothing was sticking. Nothing was helping me in this time that I need to sit and heal. And anyway, YouTube just randomly, in all my recommendeds, which was all these other crafts, dropped one video from K3N Clothtales. I should write Clothtales there. Dropped in my recommendeds K3N Clothtales, and it was her tutorial on slow stitching. Or what is slow stitching, or I'd have to go back and have a look. It was very early on, and I don't actually, I know it was in 2023, I don't exactly know when, but I watched it, and I was like, oh, I kind of like the look of that. So I rummaged, and I found one of those cheapy, stupid sewing kits that you buy for $2 at a cheap shop. And I did have fabric scraps because I use them for my junk journals and whatnot. And I just started stitching a square. And the rest, they say, is history, and that's the end of the video. No, just sorry, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I started following, I'll write it in this one, K3N Clothtales. Now, if you're here watching this video, I suspect you're watching this video specifically because you know what this is about, because this is about K3N Clothtales and a community project that we did. Community, Clothtales community. So I started watching Kathryn, and like many people say in the private Facebook group for this YouTube channel and Kathryn's YouTube channel, it is just a joy to watch her videos. She is the embodiment of just the person you want to be by her side. I don't know, I'm getting all mushy. Okay, I try not to cry too much. Anyway, so this kind of spirals a bit. So I'm just giving you, this is the introduction to the community project. It took me a long time to say that. Apologies. I do like to talk sometimes. Okay, so I really want to give you context of how it all came out, because people are like, this thing just kind of happened, and it was just, and this whole thing really changed my life. Not in the sense that I was on this path. Now I'm on this path. But it did change facets of my life for the better in so many ways that I cannot even list. But I one day should sit down with a book and try to list them all. Okay, so I'm squirreling. Okay, so I started following Kathryn 2023, and they announced they were going to be doing a stitch journal stitch along thing for 2024. And I know a lot of people in the Facebook group that were there when I was there. We all went along with the stitch along, and it was fabulous. I haven't finished it. I'm still working on it. I struggle to do things consistently every day, every week, or dunk, 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 dunk. That's not how my brain works. So I'm giving myself permission to not worry about that, and I'll get it done when I get it done. I have had another big, huge project that kind of took over everything else. So we were doing the stitch along. Now in this year, my darling, sweet, beautiful friend, because I did meet Kathryn when I was in England and is now one of my most beloved friends, is going through a really hard time. Hard time. Now, my philosophy, I want another colour pen. I'm just going to jump on the other side of this. I love these pens. I don't know what they are. They're acrylic markers. I have no idea what the brand is. I think I got them on Amazon, but they're like 2 colours too. They won't last long because they're only a little bitty. The squirrel. Sorry. As I would say to Kathryn, fish pot. Okay, so my beautiful Kathryn was having a really hard time. Now, my life philosophy, for as long as I can remember, philosophy is, if someone's going through a hard time, comfort. And what gives comfort? Blanket, food, and tea. Now, when I hear of anyone going through a hard time, which has been a lot of people over the years, I'll crochet a blanket or a shawl prayer or like a lap blanket or something. It's not usually a huge, big queen size bed because I couldn't keep up with how many people are going through hard times, right? So lap blanket, prayer shawl, or something like that. Make them a meal for freezer and invite them over for a cup of tea when they're up for it. That's just like, it's basically a way to hug someone's soul, and that's kind of, I don't know, that's just kind of what, that's just how I approach things. That's just, I don't know, so that's what I've done for as long as I can remember. I cannot tell you the origin stories of that. Probably has something to do with me not being treated like that for a long time. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. Anyway, so, I moved that too quick. So, K3N was going through a hard time. This is my philosophy. Someone's going through a hard time, they need a blanket, food, and tea. Now, Kathryn was actually on the other side of the globe. I'm in Australia, Kathryn's in England, and I was just like, I thought about just making blankets, crocheting a blanket and just sending it over, maybe with some Australian snacks or something in it. But that little intuitive voice, gut instinct, whatever you want to call it, told me to go into the Facebook group and say, hey, who wants to make a square? And send it to me, and I will sew them together, and we can make Kathryn a blanket for the new chapter in her life that highlights what the magnitude of the people that she's brought together in her community, because of the person she is and the creator and the artist and all the things that she is. She has brought many people comfort just from her teaching people to sew. And I can attest to that because I started stitching here, and where all these other crafts just were not like able to, I just wasn't able to, you know, nothing was soothing my soul basically. But stitching it, slow stitching particularly, and the ethos and the method, the meditative stuff that Kathryn promotes, that was helping me on my healing journey. And I know from reading comments in YouTube and the Facebook group, I'm not alone in that. It was hundreds of people that have literally had healing and comfort from learning to slow stitch from Kathryn. So it comes back to, hey, who wants to make a square? So we can do this for Kathryn, who is this amazing community leader that's brought us all together, helped us learn how to do a craft in a way that is good for our soul, and also educates in the best way possible about looking after the planet we're in, looking after ourselves, and looking after the environment, all these kind of things. So it's, you know, all good. And people, yes, is the short answer. Yes. People wanted to make a square for our beloved Kathryn. That's, yes, that. So, I think it was around this time last year. It's been about a year. I could go on Facebook and look up when I put the message up, but all honesty and authenticity, I just can't be bothered. So I'm not going to. So sometime around this, it's been around a year. So, people said yes, they want to make a square. And so then it was like, right, okay, what I want you to do is make a 3 by 3 inch square. Doesn't need to have any particular palette, doesn't have to have a theme, doesn't have to have a backing. You can add a seam allowance if you want, but you don't need to. And then you send it all the way to Australia, to me. And then and we're going to do a globe, and that's the rest of the world. And Australia's down here somewhere. I don't know what that is. Anyway, I've just made it look like Australia's not on Earth. There we go. Just bear with me. Okay, so yes, people did want to send squares. Yes, we put parameters in the Facebook group about what we wanted to do. People had to send me a private message to get my address because I was not putting that on Facebook for all the other crazies. Not that I'm calling you crazy. All the crazy, not good people to find. So within a few hours, I had 150 responses. And I'm like, right, this is going to be big, which is why, and I knew, and I say this in one of the videos because this is an introduction video giving context to how it all began from my perspective. I know Kathryn talked about it in her video with the blanket, but just so you can hear my thought process of it, is why I made it a small square, because I looked at the amount of followers that Kathryn had, and I knew, and the comments, and knew how much people loved her. So I knew people were going to jump in like Billy-O, and so that's why it was only a 3 inch by 3 inch square, because I had a feeling I was going to get a lot. So from, let's say, so we're going 2024 September, and then I do talk about it when I'm showing the squares in another video. like the process of I was going to have a cut off, and it kept getting pushed back because of various reasons. Ended up being, I think, like March or April. I'm going to just say April 2025. We ended up with 232 squares. From all over the world. Yay! All over the world. Everywhere. La la la. I wonder if I have my list. Oh, hang on. Okay. Now I wrote this out much nicer for Kathryn, but this is, it doesn't all fit in, but this is my list of countries. So, this is weird part of the introduction, but I'm here now, so we will do it. So, I think that's, I haven't done, no, 240. Oh, I was wrong. My memory was, oh, because I had to make some, that's right. Okay, 240. So, 200, and that's very messy, isn't it? But that doesn't matter, it's going to get painted over anyway. 240 squares, all handmade for the lovely Kathryn. So, here is a list of what countries and how many. 46 from Australia, 87 from the USA, 25 from Canada, 5 from Ireland, 33 from England. Side note, I do have a different section for the UK, which I know England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales are the UK. I think that's right. Ireland's still part of the UK? I hope I got that right. Sorry if I didn't. But if the person did not specify which part of the UK it was, I didn't spend time looking up. I just put UK, so just bear with me for that. So England was 33, UK was 11, Poland was 1, like yay, Poland represent. Scotland 5, New Zealand 7, Belgium 1, Germany 4, Spain 1, South Africa 1, the Netherlands 6, Norway 1, Portugal 1, France 1, India 1, Wales 1, Sweden 1, Japan 1, and Austria 1. So you can, the countries, like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's just amazing. Anyway, so back to explaining the context of that. So from this time to this time, I was inundated with mail, which was always a joy, and many tears were shed just from overwhelm of how beautiful everything was and everyone was, and I got them. And so then I started stitching them together. Now, before I had to stitch them together, there was a lot of organizing to do, because I like organizing things. So what I did was put a label on each square with the person's name and country, and then made lists that I then put in the Facebook groups to make sure everyone's square that they sent me had arrived. So we were cross-referencing, which you always got a bit of cross-referencing between the people who had sent stuff and what I had received. And when that was all good, then I started sewing them together. And my lovely darling Kathryn, I think it was last year in the sew-alongy week thing, that we learned to do a 9-patch. And because I had all these squares, I decided the best way to do was a 9-patch. So I made these gnome patches. Now, to make sure every square was discernible from the next one, I'm gonna pardon me. Pardon me, sorry, sneezing. Every square was discernible from the next one. I actually wanted each square to have its own border. So I tea-dyed some calico and then whip-stitched every single square to sashes of tea-dyed calico. And how I did that, and I do have videos of all this process too, because a lot of people said we want to see the process. But the reason this is only coming out now is because Kathryn now has the blanket. And I didn't want to put the stuff up before Kathryn had the blanket, because Kathryn needed to be the first person to see the blanket. That's just how my brain went. Apart from my family, which helped me and supported me through this huge project. So what I did was whip stitch sashing between these and made 3 rows, and then did a big long sashing across here. And then I made gnome patch. So then I made a lot of gnome patches. How many was it? 35, I think. I think it ended up 25. No. Oh, I can't remember. It was only like a couple of months ago too. Yeah, I genuinely can't remember. Was it 5 by 5? That's 25, because 5 by 6 is 30. 30 and 5 by 7 is 35. So yes, I think that's right. I think it ended up being 5 gnome patches across and 5 gnome patches down, I think. Anyway, so 9 patches, and I thought that was lovely because Kathryn taught me how to do 9 patches, and I thought that was a great way to then assemble the quilt for Kathryn. And a lot of the squares that people sent in had it was pretty much, I think 99% of them were like work that Kathryn had taught through her videos. And so, yeah, and so then I made that, and I didn't tell anyone in the Facebook group, but this is where we start talking about England. I'm staying with the purple pen because purple's my favourite colour. England, yay, woo. Okay, so let's go back a couple of pieces of paper. I like having this. This is fun. This harkens back to me being a teacher. I'm sorry if this is boring you, but you are more than welcome to leave and go watch another video. But I'm having fun. Okay, so we go back to in 2024, and it was, I think it was just before I sent the message. Where's my message? Just before, like weeks before this, I was given a diagnosis of various things. I have various medical issues and mental health issues, and one of the prognoses was I would probably not be able to walk by the end of the year, and I would lose my mobility and my ability to walk by the end of 2024. So it was a bit of a hit, to be honest, and so I made plans, and I just had this thing, and this has got nothing to do with a blanket, but this kind of explains how I ended up in England. After this diagnosis, I genuinely just had this thing that I wanted to go visit the Lake District, which I have been there before. I've been to England quite a few times. Actually, fun fact, I was born in England and immigrated out here before I was 1. So I am very Australian, but I do have roots in England and I have visited there. I come from the north, so I have been to the Lake District, and for some reason, after I got this diagnosis of I wouldn't be able to walk anymore, I just, day and night, I was just like, I need to go back there before I can't walk. And so I was talking to my son, and I knew that because he's 22, on his absolute list of absolute must-dos is visiting the Lake District, because he loves nature as much as I do. Loves being outdoors and hiking and walking and all that kind of stuff. So we decided, so this is like mid 2024, we decided to make tentative plans to go to England so I could visit the Lake District at the end of 2025. So like September, October, November, before December, but in that kind of few months before December, depending on stuff. Anyway, this year rolls around, so we have that kind of, saving up, and I'm putting money aside for them, trying not to buy as much craft supplies. And then, and because I've started with the blanket, there's all this stuff going on, and and to be honest, my health was getting worse, so so I was working on the blanket and that was a real form of therapy, honestly. Like, if you can, and take this in the context that it is meant, because some people end up going to the extreme. So when I say, if you want to heal and feel better, do things for other people, I don't mean at the cost of your own well-being. I mean, like, to support and comfort other people will actually bring you an amazing amount of support and comfort if you are able to do that. Now, if you're not, there's no judgment or drama or anything like that. Even just sending them nice thoughts, like, if you can do that. Sometimes you can't. I get it, depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. But for me, this blanket was like, not to put a too fine a point on it, it's a lifesaver. It helped me get through the diagnosis, all the medical appointments, all this, because I was focused on doing this blanket for an amazing person who needed comfort and also had this entire community to represent and also were caring for me. It was the most incredible thing ever. And so that got me through a lot of that. And that was doing a blanket for someone else. And so 2025 came around, I was working on the blanket, getting things organised, and we were looking at October, November to go to England. And then in, I want to say March, April, my son's work situation changed, and he came to me and said, "Mum, I'm really sorry. I don't think I can do this." Because he was doing full-time work at this place and had been there for a while, so he would be able to get the leave and all that kind of thing. And then he had left that place, so he didn't have, didn't want to just kind of apply for work in a brand new job kind of thing. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Mum. I don't think I can do that." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go on my own. I'm going to go on my onesie. Because I was still mobile. I was in a lot of pain, admittedly, but I could still walk. Not for long, and I couldn't do hikes anymore, which is really sad because I love nature hiking. But I was like, fine, well, I'll go on my own. And instead, because I had sent a message to Kathryn going, oh, me and my son were actually planning to do this. Can we make some time to swing by, drop the blanket off with you, and then we'll go up to the Lake District? And she was like, yeah, that'd be amazing. I'm like, okay, cool. And that way, because the more squares I got, where's my thing with the squares? Because that was fun. Oh, we can use that one. The more squares I got, the more I realized there was no way I was going to trust any postal delivery service with this blanket at all. Because you've got 240 handmade squares of untold amount of hours, and what's the word? Resources, materials and whatnot. Not to mention the amount of money that was spent posting everything to Australia singly, and then the 100 or so hours I spent whip stitching it all together. There was no way I was going to trust anyone with that. So I decided to go on my own to hand drop this blanket to Kathryn herself. And then, randomly, whoop, Annie Claxton, who has her own YouTube channel as well, did a video saying, hey, there's this bazaar, which is not bizarre as in weird, but bazaar as in fun, exotic things, has this like festival-y thing on the weekend, and she was going to be there and doing a slow stitching corner and la la la. And it was like, is there anything that is stopping me from like going then instead of then? Because that was in August, and the only thing that was stopping me is getting the blanket finished. So I contacted my beautiful friend Kathryn and my beautiful friend Annie and said, hey, what about if I come in August, I spend first half my holiday in K3N's area of England, and then go to this bazaar thing with Annie and spend some time in that area of England, and then I go home. And they were both like, woo, yeah, or variations of such. So that brings us to, I don't know if anyone's following along. If you're not, again, no judgment, but feel free to move on or whatever. So I finished the blanket. Dun, dun, dun. The blanket is finished. I am not drawing all those squares. Finished blanket. And then I got on a plane. There's the windows, the tail fin, and went to England, where I met up. I'll give you my itinerary because we're here and you're getting a lot of my life story. I may as well give you my itinerary anyway. So I arrived in England. I love time zones. Time zones are so trippy, right? So I left 2 a.m. on the 1st of, there's no one there, on the 1st of August. Flew for, I think it was 17 hours to Dubai. I think I spelled that wrong. Is there a H in there? No. And then had a layover there, which, because this actually ended up being 19 hours, because they were delayed. The layover was just me running from one gate to the other. Thankfully, even though I arrived 40 minutes after my next flight should have left. They kept it because most of the people on this flight were going to the next flight. So then I flew another 11 hours to from Dubai to London. So that was fun. And so then, and no sleep whatsoever because I have high functioning ADHD, anxiety, social anxiety, and depression all mixed into a happy bag of oddness. So then I got to Heathrow. I caught a train. Oh, let's draw a train. How do you draw a train? Oh, that's pretty much choo-choo. They used to be steam trains. I'm just completely squirreling now. So, London Heathrow, to be exact. And then I caught a train from Heathrow into Paddington. Remember I mentioned Paddington at the very beginning? So, into Paddington, because there were some things that I needed to do to reclaim or heal memories of my childhood. It was all about Paddington Bear. I had 2 days in Paddington. Oh, my point. I had 2 days in Paddington. I'll finish that point, then go back to the one I missed. So, I left 2 a.m. on the 1st of August. Flew 19 hours. Ran from one gate to another in Dubai for another 11 hours. Arrived in London Heathrow. Caught a train to Paddington. Walked like 10 minutes with my cases to a pub that had like a pub and rooms, which was called the Pride of Paddington. Very cute. Staircases are insanely bad for someone with my lack of mobility. They didn't advertise the staircases, but anyway, and I arrived here at 2 p.m. on the 1st of August. So, time travel. Yes. I love it. I love it. It's just so kooky. Anyway, so after my 2 days in Paddington, I went and visited Kathryn in her part of England. Fred made the occasional appearance just to check we're still doing what we were supposed to, and he was getting fed when he wanted to be. Stella was just with us all the time. Now this was the most amazing thing. Anyway, so Friday was the first. I keep doing that. Was the first. Saturday and Sunday I was in Paddington. I was in Paddington from there to Sunday morning, and then Sunday morning I drove. I hired a car and drove to the area where Kathryn lives and managed to get an awesome little cabin-y thing on this farm, like 10 minutes from where she lives, so we could hang out a lot. So, 1, 2, 3. So, Monday, 4th of August was my very first face-to-face meeting with Kathryn from K3N Clothtales. And we hung out. It was very awkward at first, I'll be honest. Because we both weren't sure if we were going to get on. And I did say to her, if we didn't really get on, it's okay. We can just kind of go our separate ways. But we did, and I ended up spending nearly every day with her. Not every single day, because she already had plans for stuff. But every other day that she was free, I was with her and Stella, and sometimes Fred. And so I gave her the blanket on this day. We filmed it, and that video was released on the Friday which is what, Friday, Tuesday is 5th, 6th, 7th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so the 8th, I think that's right, anyway, the 8th, and that is the main, I'm about to be inundated with my doggy. Hi, dog. She just knocked over the van. I have a big dog, and that's okay. She's adorable. So Kathryn released the video of me giving her the blanket and all the sundries on the Friday the 8th, which he had let people know that was happening, but we hadn't advertised beforehand we were doing this. I didn't go into telling people I was going to England, mainly because I was really nervous about whether my health would hold out till I got there and being able to get there and stuff. So kind of just kept it on my head a bit, even with like extended family and friends. Still, I think I was telling people I was going the day before I was flying out. So that is the context and the introduction to how my thought process went into starting with do people want to put a square in and send it to me, to all the way ending up in Kathryn's lounge room handing her the blanket. Now, people had said to me while we're going through this whole process, you know, we want updates, we want progress, we want la 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 la. And of course, it was, you know, yes, I want to do that for you, but you're not going to see it before Kathryn sees her blanket. So I have done videos, and I'm doing this one because I have been editing the other videos over the last couple of days. I've only been home a week, and a lot of that has been sleeping, recovering from travels. But I have been editing the footage from what I had done with the blanket and the squares and stuff. Now, so I'm doing this one because I just felt like because I said bits in one video and said other bits in another video and la la la. Hey, puppy. But I just wanted to like put it all in one video, so just you get it. So feel free to mute me in the other ones if you don't want to hear bits and pieces again. But that's the kind of from beginning to seeing Kathryn getting the thing is the end of that particular chapter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link on each of the videos I do for the progress of the blanket. This video, because I mean everyone might not want to watch all the videos, so but if you want to watch Kathryn getting it, I'll link it to every video that I put up about the blanket, and we'll make a specific playlist. So this will be the very beginning, introduction to why this all came about, and then the next video is actually showing each square that I have. The only square that isn't shown, well, actually, there's quite a few, to fill up the right amount of 9 patches. I had to make 7 squares, and I didn't actually show any of those. And I got one from Annie Claxton. She didn't actually know what was going on because she's not in the Facebook group. So if you only follow Kathryn on YouTube, but you're not in the Facebook group, you probably would have no clue that any of this was going on. And so, and the same for Annie. She's not in the Facebook group, but she does follow Kathryn. But I was messaging her about my trip, and I explained to her that, you know, the first half I was doing this to go be with Kathryn and this blanket. And she's like, I'd love to send a square. So she sent one which I got, honestly, I got the day I finished sewing all the 9 patches together. Like where's my, no, Look, I finished. Oh, here. I'd finished sewing all the 9 patches together, and then that afternoon Annie Squares came. But you will see in the other videos that there were squares that didn't fit in the 9 patches, and I made a journal cover with them. So they are very much part of the project, and, you know, absolute, you know, blessing to have those to be able to cover the journal with as well. So, you know, so yeah, my squares and Annie's squares aren't in the very first photo of showing all the squares, but you will see them in the video footage that Kathryn has, the video that I have done at the very end, just before I'm about to leave for Kathryn's place. I do a quick video of the blanket and the journals. Yeah, I think that brings us up to date with the information about the blanket, you know, from A to B kind of thing. And I know it was a bit corkscrewy, and that's just how my brain works. I hope you could follow it. I hope you enjoyed my diagrams. I have no idea why I was in such a mood to do diagrams, but I was. I think I just was happy using my acrylic pens. But I'm going to start releasing the videos as they are finished editing. There's not going to be a schedule other than when it's done, I'll put it up. And like I said, I'll put it up in a playlist specifically for K3N's blanket. Oh, that was another point I wanted to make. Excuse me. So in all the videos doing the progress of the blanket, I'm secret squirreling who it's for, because we hadn't got so far in communication about what we were going to do once the blanket was finished. And so it obviously, Kathryn has the blanket now and has herself published a video on her YouTube channel with the blanket and me giving it to her. So, but in the videos, there's a lot of me saying recipient and the person, just because at that point we're so far away from handing over the blanket, we hadn't worked out like whether she wanted it publicized or not or anything yet. So just be aware of that for the videos. That's why, you know, I wanted to kind of explain context of the blanket, and also just let you know that, yeah, we were, like we, as in me, secret squirreling the information for privacy's sake, in case Kathryn didn't want it up on the internet. But she's fine with that. So the playlist will be called K3N's Community Project Blanket. And then I might number the videos. Normally I don't number the videos you do for YouTube, just because, you know, I don't do them in any sort of particular order. But this is a very specific thing, so it's a very specific chronological order of making things, so I might number them just so it's easier for people to see. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put them down underneath this video. But I'll get the first one up pretty soon after this, because I think I've finished editing that one specifically, and I'll just need to get it up on YouTube. But I'll do this one first, and then I'll go do the square one, and then I'll just keep putting out the ones I have, the ones I have for the blanket making progress and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like I said in the description, I'll link to the one where Kathryn receives it. And yeah, what a journey. Oh my gosh, what a journey. I don't know if I'll do a conclusion video like this one, I don't know. I'm not sure where we'll go. I don't know how long it'll take me to get all the videos out. But I just wanted to, yeah, just stop in and have a proper beginning kind of thing that explains things a bit more better. And we'll go from there. But I've waffled on and I'm going around in circles, so that's enough from me. Thank you for joining me if you did watch. So thank you. And I hope you're having a great day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are. And take care, be safe, lots of love, big hugs, bye. I have to work out how to just turn this off. Okay, bye.